Where would the Niners have to be in the draft to have the best chance to get Zach Wilson?
Okay.
Top 15.
I watched every snap of the Boise State game. It was my first time watching him. I think he's going to go top 5.
Oh, why?
Quarterbacks that are that talented, like Baker Mayfield was a 4th-round pick before the draft. Like, people don't realize these things. Once the guy is talented and people realize that he has real talent, sans the big mistake in 2016 with Deshaun Watson, that guy goes top 10 and probably even top 5. So
now, the thing with Zach Wilson, though, is that he does play some of the worst defenses in college football. He never has pressure. That guy is like baking a cake back there in the pocket, which is, that's fine. I mean, so with Carson Wentz in college. And the other thing is, he, as you mentioned, is not that big. And then 4, he's had shoulder surgery on his throwing shoulder. So,
right. So all real points, but here's the thing. He's got this just amazing arm, great motion, throws it off all platforms. He can just rip it. He can throw with touch, he can throw with power, he can do it all.
Yeah.
Then he's got this kind of moxie to him. It's like he's got kind of a swag to him. So that
your franchise quarterback has to kind of be a rock star anyway. And he's got that rock star aura. Yes.
So that itself sells, right? That itself sells. And then finally, I think the third and most important thing when it comes to him is that he plays with scary confidence at the moment. And when you're playing with scary confidence like that, I think the thing with Baker Mayfield, and I think the reason he went 1 is because you didn't feel the confidence when you watched Darnold at USC that you saw with Baker Mayfield at Oklahoma. And that's
agree. And I think some people held that against Herbert at Oregon.
Right.
Yes.
But then Herbert, now you watch him in the NFL and he plays with scary confidence. But Darnold, to me, never in the NFL I saw any type of, he's so self-assured.
No.
And Baker Mayfield, there's times where even in the NFL, even though it's undeserving, he's still quite self-assured. So I think he has those 3 things going for him. I think Lawrence is a lock to go number 1. I think Fields is a lock to go top 5. And I think Zach Wilson would be the 3rd guy because I think Lance, with the only 1 year of tape to see and playing with even lesser competition than Zach Wilson, I think that's going to hold him back.
Okay, we got a follow-up Zach Wilson question from Jeff Hardison. I'm taking all questions if you paid. Jeff Hardison, would you rather have 1, draft Zach Wilson in round 1, or 2, trade a second for Darnold and draft cornerback in round 1? What would you rather do?
I'd draft Zach Wilson. I'm not a big Sam Darnold fan, and let me tell you why. And it's not just because I didn't like him before the draft. It's one, I don't think he's particularly elite at anything. He has a pretty good arm, but it's not an elite arm. He's a pretty good athlete, but he's not an elite athlete. He's really good off schedule, but that is not, you still need a guy. He doesn't function great on schedule and on time like a Joe Burrow. He doesn't process information at a high level. He's fine at it. So there's everything that's just kind of fine. But to me, to be an elite quarterback, you need some sort of elite traits. And to me, he doesn't have those. And there's 2 more reasons why I don't like him. 2, I think his kind of footwork, and this is just a personal thing, so you can come at me for this one. I think when I watch him throw the football, it doesn't look like a top 10 quarterback to me. His feet kind of go all over the place. It's kind of messy. It's really clumsy when he throws. He brings his arm all the way down to throw the ball. And I just don't remember a quarterback in my lifetime where aesthetically they were a top 5 kind of player, but they were so weird to watch aesthetically, because he's an interesting watch just aesthetically and visually. And then my 3rd thing is I think Sam Darnold needs a year to take a break. I think all the things we talk about with Jimmy, I think is times 2 with Sam Darnold. I think he's been in a horrible situation, though I think the Adam Gase portion of it is overblown. Like, people bring up the Ryan Tannehill example. Look it up. Ryan Tannehill was a very good player, a franchise level quarterback in Miami, or at very least a top 15 type quarterback in Miami. His problem was that he got injured, but they went to the playoffs with a pretty bad roster. And so I don't think that's the Sam Darnold case. I think he needs a year. I think he needs time to sit down, and he needs time to kind of refine himself and get acclimated to a system and kind of rebuild his career that way. And I don't think the Niners have time for that.
Yeah, I like how strongly you feel about Sam Darnold. I don't have those strong of feelings. I haven't watched him as much. I'm not that into him. But what I would say is if the Niners are going for like recent busts, top 5 picks who haven't really worked out, instead of trading a second for one of those guys, you could sign one. You could sign Mitch Trubisky for like nothing, or Jameis Winston for like nothing. So why would you rather trade a second round pick, which is important, for Sam Darnold, who may not even be better than Jameis Winston, may not be better than Mitch Trubisky? If you're trying to do a reclamation prospect, I'd rather be spending nothing on it. And to me, Trubisky's a better athlete than Sam Darnold. He's played for a terrible organization, and I can't stand Matt Nagy. I'm not defending Mitch Trubisky, and I don't really know if I'd want him, because he looks mentally broken as any quarterback I've seen. I mean, he's mentally broken, maybe physically, maybe he's just bad. I don't know. But I'd rather go the Winston Trubisky route than Darnold. I don't want to trade for a guy like that.
So
just give me a guy.
The Winston one is complicated, right? Because if you just isolate what they've done on the field, of the 3, Winston's done the most amazing things on the field. He's also probably done the most terrible things on the field, but that's the catch-22 with Jameis Winston. And then Trubisky, what you're saying is real. I don't think Trubisky's a very good player, but I'm from the area, and here's what I will say. The Bears, I make fun of my Bears friends all the time, even though I haven't seen a franchise quarterback in my time watching the Niners, or at least a long-term franchise quarterback, right? One that's 5-6 years. The Bears have never had a good quarterback in their entire existence. Like Sid Luckman, people like my friends that are very into the Bears will bring him up. I'm like, you weren't even like
Sid Luckman.
Your parents were alive when Sid Luckman was playing, right?
Yeah.
Jim McMahon just won a Super Bowl, handing the ball off to Walter Payton. So whoa, cool. And so
Harbaugh.
I'm like, yeah, like, oh, you think Jay Cutler's that bad, but he might be the greatest quarterback in your franchise. So I love
Kyle Orton.
Yeah, so it's a pathetic franchise when it comes to developing quarterbacks, drafting quarterbacks, Cade McCown, the whole entire thing. So, I think there's a lot of issues with Trubisky, but yeah, the Bears organization is a problem too.